Carver and Cuthbert here with you. Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach. It must be Wednesday. It absolutely is. One new week of Go Sports Radio here. Beautiful morning. Beautiful December morning in Long Beach as we get ready. Packed show here today. We have a lot to accomplish. Of course, we have all of the football from the weekend. Jets, Giants, the rest of the NFL. Off of a holiday weekend, we have college football championship week. Lots of pucks for the locals. We have got even some baseball stuff, too. I have a couple baseball notes for Paulie today. We have Tab Bamford, of course, coming on from Chicago, Blackhawks for Bleacher Nation, among other things. So very, very busy here today as we get going. Mike Carver here with you, along with, of course, Paulie. Hi, Paulie. How are you?
Good afternoon, Michael. Good to see you, buddy. How's everything?
You doing all right?
I'm doing all right. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in Borrelli here.
Yes, I noticed that. We've got all the Christmas gear is out. The holidays are upon us. We've hit December. Everybody's excited, and we're flying high now.
Did you have a nice Thanksgiving, buddy?
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
Time's just flying, man.
It really does.
Have you finished your Christmas shopping yet?
I barely started. Barely started. It's like trying to actually get out of trying to get what my kids want out of them now. Like, it gets harder. You probably know that because yours are old.
Yeah.
It gets harder as they get older, trying to like pry, like, what do you want? Especially now, like she's gonna be 9 next week. And it's like, she's kind of moved into like the, clothes and like, all that stuff. And it's like, all right, well, tell me what it is. Like, I need some information here.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we are at in terms of that. But
Steve Cohen started his Christmas shopping already. Got himself a casino and a new reliever.
Man, I hope he's the closer. He's so great. If that's what there's left with for the close. I mean, yeah, did you not watch the guy last year in the Bronx?
I guess it's maybe
you not watch him?
He's afraid of losing Diaz.
It makes no sense.
Well, if Diaz goes, right? The guy's got some backup.
I mean, they claim that they're still in, but all that big Dodger money's out there for Diaz.
We're gonna get into it later, right?
Oh, we're going to get into it later.
Good.
Don't you worry. Here on a Wednesday program. Let's start, of course, as we usually like to, with the football. And we're going to have, of course, we're going to have Tab later this hour from Chicago. And you even came dressed for the occasion. You got all the Chicago gear on today, the hat, the jersey, everything. You're rolling here.
Ready for shite. I'm a big Blues Brothers fan, too. So,
You are a big
Gotta love that stuff. So, yeah, looking forward to talking to Tab. Talk some Connor Bedard, man. Looking good last night.
Yeah.
And the Bears, baby.
Bedard, he's having a hell of a year. And I did watch a little bit of that Blackhawk Vegas game last night, not just because Dab was coming on, because there was some financial attachment to that game.
Sure.
So there was a little bit of that going on as well.
Storylines, too.
Some storylines. Oh, there was some story. Yeah, there was some storylines in that game as well.
Was the heart back in the net?
Yeah, first time in a couple of years for him back on an NHL game. Let's start with the football from the weekend.
It was a good one.
It was a good one, I guess, unless you're a Jet or Giant fan.
Well, I mean,
the Jets won. So what? I'm so used to them losing every week. The Jets did win, but Giants.
They look like they're having fun. You see the post game locker room.
They're
gotta stay positive, I guess.
What did I say to you 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Remind me.
They'll win just enough games so that they pick 7th instead of 1st.
There you go.
And well, there you go. I mean, when you're still looking for a quarterback, I guess that's a great way to go about it. But they can't ask the players to lose, Paul. They can't do that. You can't force the players to go out there and lose games. So spirited effort by them.
Unless you're a relief pitcher on.
There was about 50 people in MetLife for that game on Sunday between the Jets and the Falcons. It was brutal weather.
There were some attendance problems all over the weekend, but it's that time of the year.
Not at UBS. Yes, had good crowds.
I was talking about NFL there. I mean,
until last night. Locally, UBS had some good crowds. The Owls didn't pay them back until last night against Tampa, but there've been some good crowds everywhere. Giants Monday night in Foxborough, and I think that people were expecting a similar Giant effort. I know I was expecting a similar Giant effort that we had gotten in all the other road games this year, whether it was Detroit, Chicago, Denver, Dallas, these games where they're in it in the fourth quarter, most of them winning in the fourth quarter, having it, and they've blown these games. This game was kind of the opposite of all of that, Paulie, to where they were never in the game. The game was over from the jump.
They did have it at a 2-score game, as Dart was telling everybody on the sidelines there.
I mean, I guess
And,
they had it. You could say that.
Kicking problems, continuous tackling problems. And I guess Kafka and Dart just like giving us all heart attacks with the way Dart plays. And I just don't get any of that stuff. But, hey, it's out of our hands. I guess Dart wants to keep risking his life.
Now, that's you're obviously the play where he's running down the sidelines and he gets absolutely torpedoed. But and I know that everybody got upset and they started hitting him. I mean, he's in bounds. I mean, what do you want the guy to do?
No, I have no problem with the hit.
I saw some people were a little, it was dirty. Did the guy jump at him? Yeah, he did. But he's like a wide receiver running down the sideline at that point. You got to get him out. And he wasn't even like inching to step out. Like he was going. And if you're getting, this is the stuff that you have to learn as a rookie in the league. Like you're going to get your clock cleaned like that. Maybe next time, instead of getting the extra 2 or 3 yards, let me just step out of bounds here and
I mean, Dart talked about in his post presser that that's the way he plays. And fine. And love him for being aggressive. Love him for going for the yards and stuff. But I think this he just got off concussion protocol. I just think it was reckless. It's reckless on him.
It was reckless.
I feel as a fan base just getting concerned about his health, especially just coming back from concussion protocol, the future. And then Kafka and the crew here, just there's not a lot of protection for him out there. I just think at that point in the game, are the extra reps, is that necessary now? I mean, I'm just concerned more about his safety than him getting any extra reps there in that game.
But this is what the learning's all about. Like you got to be out there to learn these lessons, and that's a hard lesson he had to learn on Monday night. But it's one that now maybe you'll see something different.
But down 2 or 3 scores in fourth quarter, game's out of hand. You're not winning. Does he need to be in there?
No, probably not. And
that's what I'm trying to say.
And I think that Kafka did a bunch of things on Monday night that if anyone even had the slightest thought that he was maybe potentially going to get the job for the long term, and you are as the interim coach, and for most of the time auditioning, obviously, to show that you can do the job.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it doesn't matter. They're going to go in a different direction anyway. But even if you had any thoughts of him getting that, Paulie, I thought it was a really bad night for him. With what you're talking about, and I don't know if I'd put that at the top of the list, but you're right. A 3-score game with your franchise quarterback who has already taken a couple hits tonight. Maybe
I'm just surprised it wasn't a call from upstairs.
Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to pull him to the side. But there was other things too that really were bad for him Monday. I thought early in that game, especially in the first half, did it look like the Patriots were running away? Yes. There were decisions that he made. The punt before halftime on the 4th and 1 from around midfield was like, dude, you're 2-9. Like, could you go? Like, what happened? The Patriots got the ball anyway, went down the field and got another field goal. Like, just go for it and try to get something going into the locker room. Thought he did a bad job there. I thought he handled the Carter stuff about as bad as you could possibly handle it. And I get you disciplined him, but like you made it out like you doing the whole, coach's decision. They just say he missed another meeting. He's a rookie, and we're trying. He's got to learn. I thought that some of the ways he handled that was wrong. The way his decision making, leaving the gate in too long. There was a lot of things where Kafka had a tough night, Paulie. Really tough night.
Well, it definitely didn't. They didn't show you like what you said. They didn't show any kind of. It didn't carry over the last couple of weeks. At least they were in games. They were showing right. They were fun. They were entertaining. The offense was looking good. I mean, and let's talk about the Patriots here. They got beat by a really good team.
Yeah.
And they finally looked Monday night really how their record shows. Yeah. Where I have talked in the past that, you flip a couple of plays around, some luck and everything. The Giants have a totally different record because they had leads.
Right.
They were looking good, and then they kind of blew it. The other night, they look like a 2-11 team. It's over.
That was,
stick a flag.
If you think about it, it really was only they've given you effort in just about every game this year. That was probably their worst their worst performance by far. And I think the only other one that you could maybe compare it to, and look, when you're 2-11, you would think you have a lot of them. The game in Philly wasn't great. And they had beaten the Eagles a couple weeks before. But other than that, Paulie, they've shown some heart and some spunk in just about every other game this year. So now you get the latest bye. You're on a bye this week, and you finish Washington, Minnesota, Raiders, and Cowboys. Those first three also teams that aren't going to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of gets back to what I said about the Jets before. Is this going to be a situation where the Giants win themselves a couple games, whereas now they're going to pick fifth instead of second, and they're pick or fifth instead of first, or fifth instead of,
There's a lot of other bad teams though.
But here's why here's why there is a lot of other bad teams. As far as who
they're competing with,
there are some dreadful teams. Those bottom 5 teams are awful. But here's why most teams want that quarterback, and if you're the Giants, you have your quarterback.
Yeah,
which means getting one of those 2 picks allows you to potentially build some and stockpile some assets because teams are going to want to come up to you and get that. So that's why, even though you say, who cares if the Giants win? They've got their quarterback already. Those are still high quality spots to be in for quarterback needy teams that are going to want to deal with you, and you can get things in the future because the Giants need as much as they can get right now. They need all the assets they can.
They need a head coach too. Whole down the road thing here, new coach, new coordinators,
nothing has changed in my mind. They need to hire someone who has experience and has done this before.
Yeah.
They cannot hire, and I know this Lou Lamorino from the Colts, who was a Jersey guy, the defensive coordinator, he was with the Bengals before. No. Need experience. I know the names don't sound great, and they make you bristle a little bit. Mike McCarthy and John Gruden and all, these names don't sound good, but it's the kind of mind that they need. Now, Mike Tomlin, everybody's been having fun with this the last 3 or 4 days, that they think that I think they're wrong. They think that this is going to come to an end with Tomlin in Pittsburgh. I don't believe that.
I agree, and I just couldn't see him in a Giants.
If he did leave, Paulie, could I see it? Sure. But I don't believe that they've been together maybe they have been together long enough now, or maybe it is time, but it won't be them firing him. They don't do that there. They love him. They love the consistency.
Let me ask you this. Is Tomlin, do you consider him a good modern day coach today? He's obviously got great pedigree, everything he's won in the past. But is his time come?
Like every other great coach that there's been in this league, your success is only as good as who you have playing quarterback. And Mike Tomlin has been the Steeler head coach for 20 years, whatever it's at now. I think he's almost at 20. Maybe he's a year or two. Maybe he's just. But either way, Paulie, he had his most success when he had Ben Roethlisberger coming out there every single year. And now he's been good enough since Ben retired to make some playoffs.
Yeah, great defenses.
And these other things. It's not like he's going 3-14 every year. He's 500 or better and making the playoffs, but he's not winning playoff games. You're only as good as your quarterback. Why did Bill Belichick win for 20 years? Who do you have? Yeah, Tom Brady.
I think is that his name? Is that his name?
You could be the greatest coach.
Who was the kid Brady took over for?
Do you remember that guy? Yeah, the young guy, Drew.
That's right.
Drew Bledsoe. So you get what I'm saying now.
I get it.
If you put Mike Tomlin in a fresh scenario with a young potential franchise quarterback, because he hasn't had that the last few years in Pittsburgh since Ben Roethlisberger retired, does that change your opinion? Because he's a great coach, and when you link him with a potentially really good quarterback,
I have the utmost respect for Tomlin. I think he's a great coach. He's been amazing. His long run there in Pittsburgh, just legendary, great stuff. I don't know. I don't see him as a Giants coach, but as Giants fans and as a Giants organization, and if that's a guy that's available and you want one of the best to ever coach in the league, then you get him and you make it work.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's what you need to do.
I think there's a lot. I don't know. There's a lean there about Gruden there too. I mean, his name is out there, but obviously he's been out of the game in a while, and obviously the off-field stuff that's kept him from coming back to the game. There seems to be.
I don't think anyone's hiring John Gruden. I'm just going to say that.
No, I know. I understand that. I mean, look, Gruden has a relationship with Dart. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. I mean,
he's got a great thing going right now too. He does. He's out there being a media personality, and he's bad. I think he
knows his football, man.
I know that.
Ever watched any of his clips? Are fantastic.
And look, at the end of the day, he's a coach, and that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
But Paulie, he could go on for a while doing what he's doing. Yeah. In the media space, and the videos, and opening the boxes of the gear from the colleges, and breaking down the film, and he's young. He could do that for a long time, making good money, and no one's looking to fire him after a bad season.
So with that said, on that part there, the age thing, I don't think a guy like Belichick is coming. I don't want him here. I think his age, what he's done, and everything. But I'm talking some of the coaches that are on the NFL pregames and all that stuff.
Right.
As far as why they're not coaching now, they are older guys. They're not in the game anymore. You wonder if there is any kind of demand. There also does seem to be this new. You look at Vrabel here in New England and stuff. There's a younger generation of coaches that are coming in, and it seems the NFL is kind of shifting that way.
Yeah.
And then compare that to the actual senior coaches that are available and who can make an impact on a franchise.
I think that going younger is always better. The problem is they've now taken a swing at this like 4 times in a row, and it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
You need to do something different. Like, they've tried the flashy young assistant. Like, they've done all these things now. That's what Brian Daboll is. Brian Daboll left Buffalo as an offensive wizard because of what he did with Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Judge was the, off of Belichick's staff, and he's the next they've done this stuff. It hasn't worked. You need to, as much as it's against the trend of what the league is now, for them to restabilize their franchise and get back to, they can. The years of winning 5 or less games, it's got to stop. It's been 10 plus years of it. It's got to come to an end at some point. So I think you have to go to experienced older head coach,
respected,
and try to lead the franchise back into respectability.
And a big city kind of guy who can handle the New York press, the New York pressure.
Yes.
So
because some of these guys,
full package in there.
That's another part of it that sometimes
good with young kids
that doesn't get talked about a lot. Is that part of it? Is that
what about Spags? Bring him back.
He went obviously to the Rams, got his chance to be a head coach. This was after the first Giants, of Coughlin, and he did okay. Maybe was fired a little faster than he should have been. Then he was the interim for the Giants before he went back to Kansas City. I think Paulie, that he's now at the time in his he's a really, really good assistant coach. I don't think he's shown that he could be a head coach. I think it would have to be like a really ready-made situation.
With everything he's done with Kansas City?
That isn't this. This is not a ready-made situation. Yeah. This takes work. This takes someone who's been he's got years of experience, but he's got all of his best experiences as a defensive coordinator. You need someone who has been a head coach and has seen it all and done it all to fix this problem. That's what it takes. And it's a McCarthy, it's a Tomlin, it's a Gruden, it's one of these guys. They need to go that direction now.
A lot of questions. A lot of questions. Even if Giants GM stays, it'll be interesting to see what happens here as far as them playing out the rest of this season, how things end up, and what the organization does.
It will. Carver and Cuthbert Go Sports Radio here on a Wednesday at Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach. Beautiful Wednesday, December morning at Borrelli's Taproom. We've got a very busy hour. We're going to have Tab Bamford later on, Blackhawks for Bleacher Nation, among other things for Chicago. I want to do the rest of the NFL, but before I lose track of time, Paulie, why don't you slide in what's going on at Borrelli's now? And all I heard when you were getting the list together before the show and from Tommy and everyone was, this is sold out, that's sold out. It's big December here. at Borrelli's. There's a lot going on.
Borrelli's is the place to be down here in the LBC. There's no doubt about it. Once again, we are Carver and Cuthbert. Go Sports Radio here, brought to you by Borrelli's here, 912 West Beach Street in Long Beach, New York. So December is a busy month. It's already started off with a sold-out show last night, Mark Normand. And he was just phenomenal last night. And then coming in on the 8th now, next week, it kicks off here, a huge month here at Borrelli's. Jared Freed's coming in. His first show is sold out. There's low ticks left for his 9 p.m. show. Again, great comedy shows here at Borrelli's. It's Jared Freed coming up on 12/8. And then it just goes from there. On the 10th, we have the pasta classes coming up. It's pretty much almost sold out too. So always a big hit here at Borrelli's. That's coming up. And then you got Brunch with Santa this Sunday. All right.
Is that right?
December 7th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Kids get $15 for a meal and unlimited drinks and dessert. And the adults get for $35, you come in, you get an entree, and you get unlimited mimosas. So that's this Sunday brunch with Santa here at Borrelli's. And the place is all done up for Christmas now. It looks beautiful here. So definitely coming down. Coming back on the 13th. No, I'm sorry, not the 13th. On the 16th, Bingo Tuesdays return here after the comedy series at the beginning of the month is over. $7 Peroni pints. So make sure you come down for Bingo Tuesdays. Always a packed house here for that. The Electric Light Parade is coming up on Saturday, December 13th. There's going to be specials all day here. The road closes down here on Beach Street at 5 o'clock with the parade starting at 6. And Anthony Gal, musician, will be providing live music here tonight. That night on the 13th here at Borrelli's. And also coming up on December 17th is Billy Joel theme night. Songs from an Italian restaurant come down here. There's a $21 dinner and pasta special, half-price bottles of wine. Always a good time down here. So that's a busy month here in December. And don't forget, you can also book your holiday parties here. And you can get your holiday catering done here at Borrelli's as well, too. You can call 516-794-0190. So book your holiday parties here. The place looks great. It's all done up for Christmas. It's gorgeous, nice and warm down here, and get some catering done. So there you go, man. Busy month down here, bro.
On Billy Joel night, can you get a bottle of red or a bottle of white?
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
depend on what kind of mood you're in that night.
It all depends.
Does it depend on that? I got to get down for one of those. That's what I need to get down here for.
Good
Billy
stuff.
Joel night here.
He has a few hits.
Taproom. I
mean, it's not Billy Joel himself, but
no, but it's
a pretty good presentation from what I heard.
Pretty good. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio, Borrelli's Taproom here. We're going to have Tab in a couple minutes. The rest of week 13 in the NFL. Hot off the presses, Paulie. Did you watch on Thanksgiving?
Yes, I had the games on.
Because if you didn't, you were in the minority. 57.2 million people watched Cowboys Chiefs. The most watched regular season game ever, beating the previous record by over 15 million viewers. And the Lion-Packer game before it also would have broke the record for the most watched NFL regular season game ever. And then it was completely dwarfed by Chiefs-Cowboys in the middle window, 4:30 East kick. And it was a hell of a game as well. Great game. Huge win for the Cowboys.
Are they the sleeper team?
They're back.
Are they the sleeper team in the NFC? What's going on?
What a 5 days for them, beating the Eagles and the Chiefs and throwing themselves back in the mix here in the NFC. And people think with the way the Eagles are playing that the Cowboys at 6-5-1, there's people who think, Paulie, that they're going to catch the Eagles and win the NFC East. They think the Eagles are on the down right now after these games. The Eagles are now 8-4. They've lost 2 in a row. The Cowboys have won 3 in a row. Just beat them. Eagles don't look right.
Some chinks in some other teams there this weekend too, as far as losses and things changing a little bit.
I know we're going to talk more about it tomorrow here on Go Sports, but Cowboys are playing again on Thursday tomorrow night. Massive game with the Lions, who also now have not looked great these last 3 or 4 weeks, and find themselves at 7-5 and on the outside looking in. I mean, that's almost, Paulie, like you could say could be like a loser leaves town game tomorrow night, right? Like the loser of that game tomorrow night is going to be in a lot of trouble in the NFC.
What's up with that?
Rams lost 2. which is so weird. Carolina's got some of the weirdest. They won at Green Bay. They beat the Rams at home, and then they lose. They got such a weird season, the Carolina Panthers. But they're in it at 7-6. They're a half game back of the Bucks for the South. And they're on the bye this week too. Carolina, along with the Giants and the Patriots, and I forget who the other. They have the latest buy-in that you can get, which is week 14 this week. But massive week for the Cowboys. Massive week. On Sunday, the Seattle took care of business. I love them. They're at 9-3. They're tied with the Rams now in the West, and they've got a Thursday night game in a couple weeks in Seattle against each other. Houston beating Indy now puts themselves.
Were they wearing those jerseys again?
They were not. They were on the road, though. They were wearing the white, and they're at Kansas City Sunday night, Houston.
Well, the thing here now
there's massive games
there's
this week.
nobody. There's nobody. I don't think there's any team that you could say, "Oh, there's your Super Bowl. They're going to Super Bowl." There's no doubt about it. I mean, this is wide open, man.
I agree with you, and I think part of that is because the teams with the two best records in football right now, I don't think that people believe yet.
Exactly. Yeah,
like
I agree.
New England's 11-2, and people are like, "Yeah, but." Denver's 10-10, and people are like, "Yeah, but," and then all the teams that people coming into this year or the last few years have the confidence in, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills, the Lions, I'll put them in there too, the Eagles, they've all struggled, and they're like, well, January is going to be so telling. In who is it? Is it going to be the unknowns out of nowhere that are going to prove that it's their year?
I mean,
or will the old guard, if they just get into January, figure it out and be the teams that get to the top?
There are some teams like the Cowboys, the Texans here that are just playing. They're playing a different kind of football. They're just playing this more. They want it kind of football.
Right.
It just seems like you're going to be scared now if these guys get into the playoffs and you guys got to play them in the first round.
Yep.
Whether, let's say you are a Chicago Bears or where you are a New England Patriots or you are a Denver Broncos, you're going to get, if these are a lower seed that's coming in, if you're playing in the first round, you got problems here because those teams that are making a play to get into the playoffs right now, that were flailing around, these teams are looking good. Yeah. They're looking scary.
That's true. And that's going to be the hardest thing, I think, in terms of trying to handicap it and figure out who's the favorite, I think that those are going to be the hardest things to try to wrap your head around. Steve checking in on the chat, Dallas plus 290 to make the playoffs, plus 175 to get to 10 wins. They have 6 wins right now. And they would obviously have to win 4 of their last 5 games to get to 10 wins. Tomorrow night at Detroit, home for Minnesota, home for the Chargers, at Washington on Christmas Day, and then at the Giants in the last game of the season. I think they can win 4 of those games.
Yeah.
Especially with how they've played.
I hate to say
over the last 3 weeks. They can. Now, tomorrow night's the question for me, Paulie. Okay. I think that's where I can really buy in. And you should say, well, they just beat the Eagles and the Chiefs, so how could you not buy in? Well, because this could be typical Cowboys. They rise you up, and then if they lay an egg tomorrow night, Paulie, it's going to be, same old Cowboys.
Exactly. Yep.
Or are they going to play again tomorrow night like they did the last 2 games? And that's going to show me, and then maybe they'll fall on their face against the Vikings, a team that looks just pathetic right now. But I think that Dallas is very live. Very live.
Well, if they go into Detroit and beat them in Detroit, that definitely, everybody, now you're getting serious about the Cowboys,
and not only that, are you getting serious about them? They'd be 7-5-1. They would jump, and that's going to put Detroit down to 7-6. And that's a big problem for them. Now they still would have some work to do, in the NFC. But, they're still going to be on the outside looking in. But let's say the Eagles lost Monday night in LA against the Chargers, and suddenly they're a half game back of the division. And I think that's their path.
Mm-hmm.
Is that. I mean, you look at the Eagles coming down the stretch, and they haven't played well. Monday night, they're in LA against the Chargers. They do play the Raiders, which is helpful. They do have 2 games with the Commanders. That's pretty helpful, too, although the Commanders gave you a good effort on Sunday night against the Broncos at home. And they do go to Buffalo Christmas weekend too, the Eagles. So the door could be open for the Cowboys if they could somehow find a way to get themselves
And I
in.
think you're right. Thursday's a big game for them too.
Well, it's a great game with the Cowboys and the Lions on a Thursday night. But this week alone, Paulie, is so massive in terms of where teams are in the standings. On Sunday, Steelers, Ravens, they're tied for first in the AFC North right now. Colts and Jaguars, they're tied for first in the AFC South right now.
That's a great game.
Bears, Packers for first place in the NFC North.
No way.
Texans, Chiefs, both hanging like Texans red hot.
Texans want that game.
If the Chiefs with the 6-7 and basically would have lost to everyone they're competing with for the wild card.
Can I give you my bandwagon team now for the rest of the year?
Is it Houston?
It's
just because
Houston,
wow,
it's
everybody's
Houston
on Houston for the bandwagon team. Absolutely amazing.
Jumping on.
You're jumping on the Houston Texans as your bandwagon team.
Find me one of those red.
I'll tell you, I'm rooting for them on Sunday night. I hope they beat the Chiefs. I want the Chiefs buried.
Everybody wants the Chiefs
buried. I want them buried. I don't want to even have to think of them. I want them out of here. So I hope. I never put the dirt on the Chiefs, Paulie. You know that. So that's going to be a tough game for Houston to go into Kansas City on Sunday night, a place that they never.
It's fun
really
though. Look,
well.
Things are mixing up here. This is what you want. If you're an NFL fan, you love it the way obviously for your own particular team, it's different. But you know, hey, for me now, with my squad, my squad's out of it. So at least now this is the best part of football, getting to see who's going to get in here, how the playoffs are going to match out, looking at the schedule, what's left, who's healthy, seeing these teams from behind come up and put the pressure on the teams that have been kind of coasting here.
Right.
And the last 3 or 4 weeks have really changed a lot of things, as far as teams going in certain directions. And again, teams like the Patriots, teams like the Broncos, teams like the Bears, where everybody's still going, still don't believe it.
But the Bears have a chance to end in a but also this week. Now, I thought they kind of started that by beating the Eagles on Friday. That was an unbelievable win for them in Philly, and they ran the ball down the Eagles' throat, which nobody really had done all year long. Now they're playing the Packers in Green Bay. The Packers have been good at home, especially their defense. Man, how do you not take them for real if they beat the Packers on Sunday, boy? How do you not? They're going to have in the driver's seat for maybe the first seed in the NFC if they win that game.
Can we look ahead? Just who do the Bears have left after the Pack?
Well, I know they play the Packers twice. They haven't played them yet this year.
Okay.
So they're at Green Bay, home for the Browns, home for the Packers. So they play the Packers twice in 3 weeks.
Okay.
At San Francisco. Niners are going to need that game bad. That Niners have got 9 wins also. Yep. And then they finish with the Lions, which could be to bury the Lions that last game of the season. Lions could be hanging by a thread going into that last game.
That the Lions and the Bears.
Oh my!
Just like a game you got to tune into. At the
end
of the season.
But it has got all of that to it. And Bears are fascinating. Now the Rams, obviously, Rams and Seahawks also are 9-3. You have a bunch of teams there, and the Rams have got Arizona, Detroit, that huge Thursday night game with Seattle, at Atlanta, and at Arizona again. They're playing Arizona twice in the last 5 weeks. Those are games they just have to win. Playing a team like the Falcons too, those are 3 games. The Rams right there, that's 10, 11, 12. And then if they could just somehow and then they play the Lions and the Seahawks, the other 2 games.
This has been a theme here too, and I know we're going to get into it in college football, but I heard it over the weekend too in the NFL as far as teams like the Broncos, the Patriots, as far as their record, who they've played against, their schedule more than anything.
Yes, that's been a big point.
What's your play on that? These teams don't make the schedules. They play who they got, and if you take care of business, that's the way it is.
I learned a long time ago that you can never apologize for who's on your schedule. You have to go out and you have to win the games. That being said, there is a little bit to it with a few of these, and really the Patriots. Look, the Patriots have won 11 games. The only team I think that they beat during that stretch, and I'll pop it up real fast and I'll tell you, they obviously won that Monday night game in Buffalo, which was the start of kind of this little run that they're on. But other than that, Paulie, Saints, Titans, Browns, Falcons, Jets, Bengals, Giants, these teams aren't making the playoffs. These are not playoff teams they're beating. But you got to beat who they put in front of you.
Yep.
And they're going to get their chance. They're going to come out of the bye, and they're going to play the Bills and the Ravens, the 2 games out of the bye. And the Bills and the Ravens are still looking for everything. They're looking for it all right now.
But, as fans, it is a big thing. Like, we kind of look at that sometimes. Look at your schedule. Look who you played. Come on. And you're not impressing anybody.
And sometimes that stuff ends up being true. Because if the Patriots go 14-3 and they have the bye in the first round in the AFC playoffs and then the 1 seed, and yeah, fine, you want to call me a homer, I'll use my team as an example. And Josh Allen and the Bills roll in there in the second round of the playoffs and they lose their first game. You want to know what everybody's going to say, Paul? They were a product of their schedule. They beat up teams. They didn't play anybody all year. It got to crunch time, and they lost their first game.
Mm-hmm.
People will say the same thing about Denver. If Allen or Mahomes or any of these guys run into Denver in the first weekend of the playoffs, now Denver's beaten Mahomes once already this year. Play him again Christmas night. It's going to be the same. Well, they weren't ready for prime time in the playoffs. They had a great year. They had a home game, and they still lost. You got to prove it in January. That's where it's to prove it. The Vikings last year with Darnold.
Yeah.
They win 13 games. Now, they lost that last one to the Lions where they didn't get home field.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened to them? They
fell apart.
They lost their first playoff game. It was like, all right, well, they're out. They're a product of the schedule. You win 13, 14 games, and it's all for naught. It's the way it goes sometimes while you're in this league.
It's even worse on the college side.
Well, we got a lot of college to get to.
Yeah, we'll get to later. I'm just bringing it up because it's a big discussion.
We're going to get to the games. It's championship week. I am the dopey college football playoff rankings. We're going to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just ask you this because we're going to get to Tab in a few minutes. Maybe we'll take a break before Tab and get ourselves reset. Would you like to be Lane Kiffin's agent this week? Would that be a fun that must have been a fun couple days for him. It's how much money gets pulled in and how, and I know I use this line with you. I use it with Joe, everybody, college athletics now. It's amazing. What it just is like.
It's like watching a car crash. Like you just don't know what's going on here. Like if you pull up on something and you go, what just happened here?
And I loved my favorite part of it all. And Lane is and this is 95% of college football, Division I college football and college basketball coaches. 90 to 95% of them, Paulie, they're snake oil salesmen. Okay. They are, that you really can't believe everything that comes out of their mouth. I thought it was hilarious that at this time last week, he was the greatest guy ever. And he got Ole Miss back to prominence and he did all those things. But he was the greatest guy ever. What a coach. Look what he did here in Oxford, bringing this team back. And then 2 hours after it comes out that he's leaving for LSU and all that's going on, and they give the defensive coordinator, Golding, the head coaching job. It took 2 hours they like this guy better, and he did all the work anyway. Lane didn't do anything. It was all this Golding. He's the guy he was the recruiter. He was the guy. Nonsense. Okay? It burned. You got burned. He left. Now all of a sudden, this guy who nobody could pick out of a lineup before 3 days ago, he's the driving force of the resurgence of the university? Stop.
Yeah,
it sucks he left. It's bad. It just looks awful. This team's going to the college football playoff.
Well, it is at the end of the day. It's the kids, the players, man.
It sucks for them.
But but now with the transfers now,
they can leave now too.
It's such a mess.
Somehow, and believe me, I don't know how to fix this. So I could sit here and yell and scream and complain, and we can all do that. I don't think anyone, Paulie, has a good way to fix the problem. But they got to do something because the scheduling of it all is stupid. You can't have in the same week span, finish a regular season, announce who's in a playoff, start the transfer portal, and have signing day. All of these things are in a 6 day span. That's what do you expect? Of course, some big program like LSU is like, I gotta. These kids got to know who my coach is going to be next year. I'm a huge program paying millions of dollars. I got to make sure I can get these kids. I can't wait around for Lane Kiffin to go coach Ole Miss for the next 3.5 weeks. By then, everyone's gone.
Yeah,
transfer portals and signing day and everything. The structure of how things are set up is stupid, and that is where, Paulie, things need to change. And I mean, I think because the Kiffin thing was so big, everything else like got lost in the shuffle. Like the guy at Tulane's playing for a spot in the playoff summer roll. He's going to Florida. Now he's going to coach the team. Is he distracted? You've got the Silverfield leaves Memphis. He's going to Arkansas. This guy's the North Texas coach who's also playing Tulane. He's going to Oklahoma State. This guy, like, there's games to play still. Yeah. Big games with huge implications of who's and this takes it all over. Should be about the games. Not about how much this dopey coach is going to make for jumping from one school to the other. Bothers you.
Yeah, it is. And just, then you look at the press conference, him in front of LSU and talking about it's the greatest college, the greatest place.
It's the greatest. I mean, he said the same thing when he got the USC job 10 years ago. He said the same thing.
It's nauseating. It's nauseating.
Paulie, I need a break from this because I'm going to get even more fired up at the top of the hour when I come back and talk about these suits, the Crack Crab and Lobster Committee with what they do with that college football playoff ranking. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio, Borrelli's Taproom here in Long Beach. We'll come back. Tab Bamford, of course, Blackhawks for Bleacher Nation, along with many other things. Paulie's old partner. Did a lot with Paulie. We'll talk some Chicago with Tab. We'll come back. A lot more to do from Borrelli's. We're back after this. Go Sports Radio. And we are back. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Taproom here in Long Beach as we get ourselves ready. Big Wednesday show. And we now go out to Chicago. It's always great to have Tab Bamford with us as we get going. Chicago sports, of course, Blackhawks for Bleacher Nation, among many other things. Tab, it's great to see you. And look, Paulie came dressed for you and everything, Tab. I mean, look at him. He came all dressed with the Blackhawk gear. He's ready to go.
I got to see the back of that black jersey. Is that new or is that a throwback? Because if it's new, y'all are getting them in New York faster than people are getting them in Chicago. They are completely sold out here.
This is one of the old ones, buddy.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. How you doing, pal? Good to see you.
If I sound like Kermit the Frog after crushing a pack of heaters on the way in here, fighting off a little bit of a cold because I was up until 3 a.m. Picking my kid up off of a bus after his high school football team won a state chip on Friday night.
Congratulations.
Saturday morning last week. So fighting a little bit of something with it being 18 degrees and 8 inches of snow outside because of Chicago. But, who doesn't want to have a West Coast swing for the team that you get paid to cover, when you're fighting a cold? It's perfect. We get an ESPN Plus 9 o'clock start in Vegas, and Do it again in LA on Thursday. Why not?
And it was a hell of a game too, Tab. I was telling Paulie earlier that I stayed up and watched a little bit of it, not just because I love watching Bedard and the Blackhawks play, but there was some small financial commitment on my end to the Blackhawks last night, so that's why I was involved. But they have been a team for me this year on the rise. Like, you have seen such a difference in the Blackhawks compared to the last couple of years. Bedard looks happy. He's playing at an elite level right now. They're getting good goaltending. Things turning around here for the Blackhawks this season, turning the corner.
Yeah, I think so. I think there was an outside perception that Connor Bedard wasn't happy. Was he thrilled that they were getting, boat raced out of the gym a lot of times? No, he's a competitor. But, talking to him in the room, he always had a perspective of, like, look, I'm just the first kid that got here. There are waves and waves and waves of really talented young players who are going to follow me into Chicago. And when they get here, look out. And he would always, talk about, like, he was watching the kids' numbers in juniors and what they were doing in college. Frank Nazar at Michigan, Ryan Green at Boston University. So he always had that perspective of, like, what are these kids doing that are going to be my teammates eventually? And this is the first season that you're really seeing General Manager Kyle Davidson's vision for this rebuild on ice. You've got Oliver Moore, first-round pick. You've got Sam Renzel, first-round pick, a couple Minnesota Gophers. Nazar's in the lineup. Lev Shinoff, Michigan State, in the lineup. Wyatt Kaiser, Minnesota Duluth, in the lineup. All these young guys. I mean, Alex Vlasic's the second oldest defenseman they're dressing every night. He's 24. So when you put all that together, are there mistakes? Yeah. Are there going to be some blips? Yeah, absolutely. But are they one of the fastest teams in the league? Absolutely. And are they becoming one of the more exciting teams to watch? Yeah. And I think Connor Bedard put, to his credit, Connor Bedard took a risk betting on himself, not signing an extension last summer, but not accepting an invite from Hockey Canada to go to the World Championship for a second straight year. He said, no, I got some things that I need to work on to be an elite superstar in the NHL. I got to be a better skater. I got to be stronger with the puck. And he went and he worked on that. And he hasn't told anybody what the heck he did, but he is a completely different player on the ice this year. Maybe it's just, finishing puberty. Who knows? But he is a different player this year, and he is dominating games. And if y'all went to bed before that goal that he put in the third period, and then the shootout goal that he scored, that was Patrick Kane-esque. And I'd say that whether Kaner was a Blackhawks icon or not, I mean, the Carter Hart was looking for his jock somewhere in the third row after that move. So, and the goal that he scored in regulation in the third period, he undressed Shea Theodore on that one. No slouch.
Oh.
So, I mean, this kid, he bet on himself in a year before the Olympics that he had things that he needed to do. And he is making it, and Macklin Celebrini is also. Those two kids are making it really, really hard for Canada to leave them home for Milan. And kudos to both of them, because they could have easily said, you know what, this is going to be, Sid's victory lap, and there's going to be a whole bunch of guys that can't go the next time in 2030, and we'll be in our mid-20s. We'll be the alphas in the room at that point. It's fine. They're like, no, we want in on this dance. We want to roll with the big dogs, because that's who we are, and that's where we're going to play for the next 10, 20 years in this league. And it's been so much fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, Bedard has elevated every part of his game, and it's been so much fun, really, on a nightly basis.
I'm going to sidebar there for a second, because you brought something up, and I want to ask you about this, because you bring up a great point. Guys like Bedard and Celebrini, and you've even around here in New York, you've heard Matthew Schaefer's name kind of thrown around as well. That team is so stacked in Canada. And yes, Sid's victory lap. Wouldn't it be beneficial to the future of Hockey Canada, or even if it was United States, to take 2 or 3 younger guys like that, even if they're the 17th, 18th, 19th guys on the rosters, just so that they are part of it, experience it, they're good enough that if you need them to play a role, they'll be there, as opposed to taking, and I'm not even going to use I don't want to throw anybody, whatever, like whoever's going to play the fourth line for Canada in the Olympics in Milan. You know what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't you rather those guys get that kind of juice and experience?
Absolutely. I've written that about Spencer Knight being the third goalie for the U.S. But not only is he, do the numbers making it a phenomenal case for him to be there, but, he's Connor Hellebuck. This should probably be Connor Hellebuck's last run in the Olympics. Jake Ottinger will be in his low 30s the next time an Olympics comes around, and Spencer Knight will be in his late 20s. And so, like, you're looking at Swayman and maybe Dustin Wolf and Spencer Knight as being the three guys that are fighting for that extra roster spot. I do think that there's a ton of value in building for the next Olympics and getting that experience. But I think the other thing that you have to keep in mind here, too, is we haven't had NHL players in the Olympics in 12 years.
Yeah.
And so, like, Nathan McKinnon's never played in the Olympics. So, there's a whole crop of elite A-level stars that are, getting in that. Connor McDavid, no Olympics. Like, the Triple Gold Club has been gathering dust for more than a decade. And so there are a lot of guys that are going to be getting Olympic experience on a rink that's apparently going to be too short. Good job, Italy. But no, I'm with you. I don't envy the management decisions that the U.S. and Canada have to make because they are stacked with talented young players. And I'm sure that you want to have young guys getting experience, it's the first Olympics for NHL players in 12 years. And coming out of the Four Nations, you want the gold medal. Like, go back and look at 2010. That was absolute hysteria in Vancouver. And I think both countries, I think every country knows that coming out of the Four Nations, this Olympics could be an amazing time to elevate hockey around the world, but especially, really cranking it up a whole nother level in the U.S. and Canada on behalf of their countries. And so there are going to be some really, really unhappy fans when, their favorite player doesn't make it. But it'll be if Sidney Crosby's your third line center for Canada,
yeah,
come on. Like, it's really hard to argue that a 19 or 20-year-old has, like, a role carved out for them on a team where Sid might be the third line center. Canada's depth is insane up front.
Well, that's the way the NHL has kind of been for so many years, Tab, just letting the old guard go as far as they can, and then they get refurbished by getting traded to another team. Everybody gets moved around here. I mean, I think as NHL fans, the three of us here, it's something that we're just, we're kind of used to this. And NHL is a brand, and as far as their players and everything else, it's just probably the way it's going to be. And plus, I guess the other thing too, you're just looking at roster spots, and a lot of these vets, like guys like Crosby and Ovechkin, playing longer, a lot longer than guys in decades in the past would usually play. So that's like another problem too.
Oh, absolutely. And like when you think about Matthew Schaefer, there's a discussion between Matthew Schaefer and Drew Doughty, right? Another guy that's still there. I will say I will be sad if for some reason, even if it's as a 14th forward, Jágr doesn't get an invite. I think that there's a lot of value add there. And I think Jágr in an Olympic Village would be definitely something that Netflix should be filming.
But Doughty's a perfect example of what I was trying to get to before. Like, he has played in them. He is injury prone now. Like, that's the kind of guy that let's bring Schaefer. Like, let's get Schaefer the gas for going in the future. Last thing on the Blackhawks, and then I want to answer about the Bears. Spencer Knight, you brought up. And sometimes these kids, and you've been around it forever, they have so much hype behind them. And sometimes it just takes a little change of scenery to really push a guy and finally get to that potential that he was. All we heard about Spencer Knight was how great he was going to be with Florida. He was going to change the Panther franchise. He was going to do. Well, Panthers did all right without him, obviously, the last few years. But now he's gone to Chicago, Tab, and he looks like he can be that top-level, top-tier goalie in this league. And that's been really the backbone for me, along with Bedard, that's changed the Hawks around.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the pedigree's always been there. I think the pressure weighed on him a ton. He took a big chunk of time off to deal with some personal stuff, really recalibrate everything in his life. I give him full credit for that. And it just kind of worked out. I mean, think back like 3 years before the Tkachuk-Huberdeau trade. there were people talking about how much was Florida going to have to throw in to get rid of Bobrovsky's contract, because Spencer Knight was the future and they couldn't be saddled with 10.5. And then, Bobrovsky decides to remind everyone that he's a Hall of Fame goaltender, one of the best of his generation, and Spencer Knight becomes expendable. And that may go down truly as one of the, really great mutually beneficial hockey trades, maybe of the decade, when we get, settled down in 5 or 6 years and look back, because Seth Jones was able for Florida to kind of hit a reset and get 5 more years on the right side with a younger Aaron Ekblad replacement. And the Blackhawks got a franchise goalie who was ready to jump and ready to be that guy and ready to be a star in the NHL. Never mind the fact that the Blackhawks got an unprotected first rounder in 26 from Florida with it. And right now, that pick would be around the top 10 and about 5 picks earlier than the Blackhawks' own pick. Right. Who would have thought that, right? First week of December, and the Blackhawks pick would be later in the first round than the defending champion Florida Panthers. But and look, Spencer Knight's a thoughtful guy. I love talking to him. And one last thing, and then we can get to a little pigskin. But what I love about Spencer Knight is from the jump in training camp, even last year with an interim head coach, he just got here. He has always talked about things from the perspective of process. And this is how we need to build process, and this is how we need to learn how to play so that we can succeed into May and June. It wasn't like we need to get better so that we can try and get in the playoffs. It was we need to establish process and play in a way that we can sustain excellence into the 3rd and 4th round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's been his mindset from the jump. So, I think that's a complete game changer when you have voices talking like that in the room, and then you go get a guy like Burakovsky who's got 2 rings, who gets it. There's a different mindset this year, and it's supporting the swagger that Bedard's putting out there, which is refreshing after 2 years of watching Winnebagos want to retire.
Yeah, it's tough when you watch a couple.
With all due respect to Pat Maroon and Alec Martinez, the collection of knee braces and duct tape are gone.
Yeah,
and now we've got guys talking about Call of Duty between practices.
We know, Tab, that Chicago, obviously, it's been a Bears town forever. Now, the Bears have not given them much to cheer about the last 40 years since the last Super Bowl, but how is the town reacting to what's been, I think people thought the Bears would be better hiring Ben Johnson and seeing what he could do with Caleb Williams, but to potentially be the best team in the NFC, not just the NFC North, that has to have people going nuts in Chicago right now.
Oh, the vibes are through the roof in this town. And it's because
I'm surprised you have your shirt on, Ted. To be honest with
you. I thought about it, but this is a family program, and I'm not sure that y'all were ready for me to go full Ewok. I'm not nearly as follically deficient as Ben Johnson when the tarp comes off. But no, I mean, look, Ben Johnson came in and said, look, it's going to be a process. We're going to build brick by brick this year. You're not getting the whole deal week 1. They came out of the bye, and they've dominated since their bye week. And last year with Eberflus, the complete Titanic level gong show that it came out of the bye week, and it wasn't happening. It was embarrassing, frankly, watching some of the mistakes that the coaching staff was making and some of the things that they were trying to do on the field. Just the thought process behind it was so flawed to anyone in the free world that it was embarrassing. This team's got a lot of confidence. It's got a lot of swagger, and they're rolling people. And a lot of people will say, well, they haven't beaten anybody. Well, they kind of beat the pants off of the Dallas Cowboys. And they're alleged, if you watch ESPN, you'll get 45 minutes of that before 45 minutes of LeBron. But they'll tell you that Dallas is, a scary team or somebody that you should not want to see in the playoffs. Well, for all of what Dallas does well, if they're playing outdoors in Seattle or Chicago in the middle of January, I don't know if CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are the same guys.
Nope.
This Bears team, I think, knows that everyone thinks that they're not as good as they are, and they believe that they're better than their record indicates, and that they gave a couple away, and that they owe Detroit one for week 2, and they got Green Bay this week, and that'll really be it, right? You went into Philly and you beat the pants off of the defending champs. That's fine. It don't mean a dang thing if you come out and lose to the Green Bay Packers, and they've got them twice in 3 weeks.
Yep.
You know, great scheduling. Like you get 1 week off in between. I think it's Cleveland.
Yeah.
So that's like Alabama scheduling Little Sisters of the Poor between Ole Miss and Auburn. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But no, I think this Bears team is a lot of fun. I think you see an upward trajectory, which I think is the most exciting part. Very similar to the Blackhawks in that regard. They've got young receivers. They've got young offensive linemen on the outside, the 2 tackles. But more than that, the front office went and fixed every glaring hole that they had. And all you want as a sports fan, I don't care if you're the Giants or the Jets or the Bears or the Lakers or the Oklahoma City Thunder or whoever, you want to see a front office that understands what's wrong with their team and actively works to address that.
Yep.
Like, if everyone tells you that you need a left-handed pitcher, at least, little college try here. Like, get off the couch and go, like, make a phone call, see what you can do.
Yeah.
And the Bears went out and got an entirely new interior of their offensive line, and they're studs. They're all pro guys. And they spent money on defense because they're not spending it on offense yet, because most of their skill position guys, except for DeAndre Swift, are still on rookie deals. So you see where the upward trajectory is. I think they're probably, if we're honest, in a sober moment, a year ahead of where they probably should be at this whole number 1 seed in the NFC. But that comes back to parity. I think the NFL and the NHL share that. You've got so many mediocre dumpster fires in the league, and the bottom is so low that you can look at a Bears schedule and be like, well, you beat Dallas, but they're not that great. They're like a 500 team. Well, you beat Philly, so you've got 1 good win, but everyone in the league is somewhere between 1 game over 500 and 3 games under 500. So how are we really crowning someone based on their schedule so far? Unless, you've got some non-conference thing that the college football playoff is just going to completely ignore anyway.
It really does come to that at the end of the day. What a year, 9-3, and Packers 2 of the next 3 weeks. The Bears will play them, and I think that second one's a Saturday night game, standalone, which will be fun as well. Tab, tremendous job.
I got one more thing.
Wait,
we can't let him go
not done. I apologize, Paul.
No, I got me and Tab known each other for a long time.
Hey, get in there.
Tab's a big Michigan State fan.
Oh, that's right.
What happened, buddy?
I love the hire.
No, I'll tell you what. I don't want to go there. I know. Definitely want you to take.
I specifically wore the I Like Hockey shirt instead of the Michigan hockey shirt because I knew the Wolverines were going to come up somehow. Look, this Ohio State team might be the most complete college football team since that Miami run in the early 2000s. They are running it back, and they've gotten a lot of the guys back that won a national championship last year. If they had lost to a Michigan team with an 18-year-old true freshman quarterback that refused to put the keys in his hand and let him drive, they handed the ball off to the point that you were like, are the receivers all sick? Are we on hammy watch here? What's happening? Ohio State won a game. And you know what? I fully respect the you-know-what out of and tip my cap to Ryan Day, because he could have easily, walked around and, been like the dude quitting in Half-Baked at the post-game media, like, F you, F you, F you. He could have aired all the laundry, all the receipts. He could have had his boys out there planting flags in both end zones and, center ice, and they could have been asking, if they can take their dates home for dinner kind of a thing. And he said, no, we're gonna leave this building with class because, this is something that we haven't done in a while, and we're going to take the high road. And I think that is exactly what college sports needs. It's what that specific rivalry needs.
Mm-hmm.
And so full respect to Ryan Day for, diffusing what probably could have been a volatile situation in the big house. But that Ohio State team should win a national championship again this year.
I think that Indiana.
I don't think there's anybody that's deeper at every level, at every position on a roster than them.
They might win the national championship, but I think Indiana's going to get them this week, Tab.
I like that. I like that. And Indiana, you talk about a team that's got swagger.
Yeah.
That people don't expect a whole lot out of, even though they were pretty good last year. That team doesn't know how to believe what people are telling them about themselves.
Nope.
And there is no team that you want to play less than a team that has absolutely no downside in the game.
Nope, it's true. And
they could lose 50-0, and people would be like, "Well, Ohio State's that good."
Yeah.
I look like last night. God bless them, Illinois. So Illinois high school football. I'll make it brief. They have 8 classes for football state championships. They play them at the same university over 2 days. They play 4 games on Friday, 4 games on Saturday, which is why my kid got home at 2 a.m. They were supposed to play 4 last Saturday. We got a foot of snow. The University, Illinois State, banged the games on Saturday, and the high school association had to figure out what the heck they were going to do. So they played 2 of them yesterday at Illinois State, and they're going to play 2 more, the 2 heavyweights, tonight at Northern Illinois. The second game last night was between a team in my son's conference, Fenwick, and East St. Louis. East St. Louis had an average margin of victory in the state of Illinois of almost 50. I say in the state of Illinois because they lost 3 games this year, which made them a 9 seed, but one of them was to IMG down in Florida. Another was to a defending state champ in Florida. And one was to the defending state champ in New Jersey. Oh. So they went out of state 3 times and lost close games. They are what you would consider a national team. They left the state 3 times to go play games. Fenwick, maybe they got. I think their kicker's the only guy that's got a D1 ride right now. He's going to Northwestern, and they looked him in the mouth and punched him in the face. And Fenwick beat East St. Louis in the state title game by 10 last night. Wow. So you if you ever wanted to see the case for the little guy beating the big guy, I think the line if you could gamble in high school sports, the line in that game was probably 3 touchdowns, and it didn't matter. And I think that's kind of the vibe that Indiana's got, right?
Vibe.
You know what? Their quarterback should probably win the Heisman, or certainly finish top 2. And most average football fans in America probably don't even know the guy's name.
No, not at all.
It's true. Tab, tremendous job, as always. We will see you again soon. Thanks for popping in, and we'll do more Chicago sports further down the line. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, right on, boys.
Thanks, brother.
There you go. Tab Bamford right there, of course, Bleacher Nation, covering the Blackhawks late night, not just with the Blackhawks in Vegas, but high school football on a Tuesday night.
He's got a couple of talented boys, man. Play any
given Tuesday.
There you go, man.
Anything can happen. Like it happened there last night for him. All right, Paulie, just because that was brought up, I will say this. We're going to talk more about this game tomorrow, but I'm jacked up for this Indiana-Ohio State game on Saturday night because this is also from
sometimes things line up.
But I have also a real big betting angle on this game. I'm really fired up for it because this game means everything to Indiana and Curt Cignetti. Everything. And it means nothing to Ohio State. Ohio State knows they're in a playoff no matter what.
Yeah.
They won last year, not being a one seed. They didn't even have a bye last year, and they won the national championship. Yep. They're not. Do they want to win the Big Ten championship? Yes, of course. It would be nice for all that. For Cignetti to go into Indiana in his second year, a place that never wins anything in football, and be able to run around and put another feather in his cap that he won the Big Ten championship and went undefeated 13-0. I'm not saying he doesn't want to win the national title. Obviously, he wants to do that too. But and he's a big I said it guy. He loves telling you how great he is.
Mm-hmm.
For him to say it took me 2 years to turn Indiana into the Big Ten champions, I think this game means everything to Indiana and not as much to Ohio State. And I think that Indiana showed me enough earlier this year when they went to Oregon and won that they are good enough to go toe-to-toe with Ohio State. And I think they're going to have a little extra edge in this game on Saturday night.
I hear what you're saying.
Yes. But.
No, not a but. as far as who's it more important to? You know Ohio State's coming to play.
Look, I'm not saying that Ohio State's going to roll out there and not care about the game. What I'm saying is, in terms of, you're walking that locker room and you're going to go through the tunnel.
So let's put it this way.
There's
post-conference, Day loses the game. He shrugs his head up. Yeah, they move on. Been a great season. We'll see in the playoffs.
They're probably still going to get a bye. They'll be the 4. They'll still, not have to play in the first round.
It's more of devastating if
I wouldn't even call it devastating, because Indiana's going to still be in the playoff and maybe even still have a bye too, because they're both had unbelievable years. I'm saying from a big picture program perspective for the University of Indiana and their football program, it would be
massive,
light years bigger win than Ohio State, who's won a billion Big Ten football championships. In fact, Paul, we love the Google machine.
Yeah, when you look at it that way, and you make it a lot clearer as far as how it will be perceived.
How many Big Ten titles do you think Indiana has in football? How many things have they won?
3.
In football, how many Big Ten titles? They have won the Big Ten football championship twice.
That's close.
1945 and 1967.
That was a long time ago.
And this guy, who already tells you, like, he got the job, Googled me, all that stuff, Signetti, he's brash, and for him to, like, this place never won. I was here 2 years, and I got them, and I won them a Big Ten title. I'm just saying, in the big picture, it means so much more to Indiana, and that's why I feel like Indiana is the side this week in this game. And we will do more about this tomorrow when we go through all the championship games. College football playoff ranking last night.
Ratings will be pretty good, too.
This is what I want to say to you about this, because this is just the part that I don't get.
Look at you. You're excited. Love it.
Well, I was gassed up about this last night. And the worst part is that I shouldn't be, because as I say to you, these rankings don't matter until the last one.
Mm-hmm.
None of them matter. What do? They're out to do things like this to me. Get me excited about things that I shouldn't have to get excited about. Obviously, Notre Dame, Miami. They've played. Miami beat them. Notre Dame's ahead of them right now. Notre Dame's 10. Miami's 12. BYU's 11. BYU's playing this weekend. Notre Dame and Miami are not playing this weekend. So, Paulie, if I am these suits and I'm sitting in this hotel eating my cracked crab and lobster, and on Tuesday, before the championship games, I have sat down this group of 12 people or whatever it is, and they have gone, we have Notre Dame 10 and we have Miami 12. Neither of them are playing this week. What exactly is going to happen between now and Sunday that would allow Miami to be ahead of Notre Dame? What can happen? Are they mad? Are they going to play a game in their minds, in their sleep, that they would know? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we saying? But then the guy's he said, well, things can change between now and Sunday. Nothing's set in stone. Meanwhile, last year, the guy who ran it last year said that nothing would change if you're not playing. It's hard to move. I hate the inconsistency. I hate the way they change their minds about what's important and what's not. I would prefer now, Paulie, if this was done like the NCAA basketball tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need these weekly updates and nonsense, these television made-for-TV shows that they do. And I know it's money.
Ratings and money, buddy.
Just put it out at the end, and we can fight about it then.
No way.
Because now
this, baby.
They're going to put Miami ahead of Notre Dame on Sunday. I'm telling you now, because there's a path to it now. BYU loses. Miami's going to drive, and then when they're next to each other, they're going to say, well, head-to-head, and they're going to put Miami ahead of Notre Dame. They're saying it right now because they think it's like they're blocked together, and when BYU, or if BYU ever won, that could, push them both out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be the easiest thing that would bail the committee out. But I never want them bailed out, Paulie. I want them to sweat and have to take the hard questions. So I hope that BYU loses to Texas Tech on Saturday.
I got to get you in a press pool with those guys, man. That would be
these guys, and then
that would be
ask,
theater.
And these
having you answer the questions,
answers that they give to some of these questions. But does that make sense to you?
Not about making sense.
That today they're ahead of them. They're both not playing. Why would that change on Sunday?
It's a headline. It's a tease.
I'm tired of it.
They got nothing else to do
I don't
except
need it.
order seconds. That's it.
Go back to the
More
computers. Go back to the computers. Let the computers spit out who plays in it. I'm at that at this point because there's no balance. There's no balance to anything. They all play different teams. They play different schedules. What's the compare? What?
I think, like I said, somebody might pull us aside and say, look, it has everything to do with the TV contracts.
And admit it.
It's for headlines. It's for clickbait.
Well,
it's for advertising. It's got to be, because the rest of it doesn't make any sense, does it?
Well, that is a whole nother point, because this is, again, television and money and who's connected to who. Texas has lost 3 games. They shouldn't even be in the discussion of being in the college football playoff, but because the SEC and the ESPN are all, what has ESPN been doing since they beat Texas A&M Friday night? Well, if you look at who they've beaten and they won, maybe they should be. No, they shouldn't be in. They're 9-3. It is what it is. Don't lose to Florida, and then maybe you'd be in the discussion. But Notre Dame hasn't played anybody since their first 2 games, and blah 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 blah. There needs to be a better way.
Well, doesn't that all play into it too? The scheduling thing that we talked about,
Correct.
The structure, how everything's laid out,
everything,
and then the performance of teams that maybe have overperformed. It changes everything as far as rankings, where everybody's laying out, and then the top teams, which you've brought up, which is true about television ratings. You want the big games, you want the big colleges in the mix. There
needs to be a better way.
Well, how do you do it?
I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer.
What about setting it up like the Premier League?
I don't have the answer. I don't know what. You know what? That ain't a bad idea. There's 100 teams, right? Let's do 5 20-team divisions, and the top 4 teams from each come out, and they got to play each other first, and one of the 5 comes out.
That's the Euro Championship,
and then they're all playing each other at least, and we know who's the best of this group, and then they're playing the best from that group. And then I'm sure somebody said, well, this guy was better than all the teams in that group. There's always going to be somebody who argues.
And
but that sounds better than the nonsense that I'm dealing with now.
They'll get all the drama about the groups, the selections, right? I mean,
college athletics, it's just nonsense now.
We need another show to just do it, and just college alone.
College athletics. All right, Borrelli's one more time before. Of course, Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio here at Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach. One more time before we finish with a few other things, Paulie. What's going on at Borrelli's?
All right, real quick. Once again, very busy December here at Borrelli's. Jared Freed, his first show is sold out here on December 8th, and there's only a few tickets left for his 9 p.m. show. So go to Borrelli'sTaproom.com, or you can check out Eventbrite and search Borrelli's. Wednesday, December 10th, come on out for the pasta class. If there's a few spots left for that, again, usually always sells out. Again, go to Borrelli'sTaproom.com for more information. Brunch with Santa's coming up this Sunday on December 7th, 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. Sittings. Kids for $15, you get a meal, unlimited drinks, and dessert. Adults, $35. You got an entree and unlimited mimosas. The Electric Light Parade in Long Beach is coming up on Saturday, December 13th. Borrelli's will be open all day. There's going to be specials all day. The street closes at 5 o'clock, just to give everybody a heads up, and the parade starts at 6. Anthony Gow will be performing here live for the Electric Light Christmas Parade, and it looks fantastic in here at Borrelli's. All decorations are up. Awesome stuff. Coming up on December 17th is Billy Joel theme night. $21 pasta special, half-price bottles of wine, and the greatest hits of Billy Joel playing all evening. And one last thing, book your holiday party here at Borrelli's. Call 516-794-0190, and also hit up Borrelli's for any of your holiday catering needs.
Yes.
Boom.
Must have here. We're at Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach.
So we're gonna go
Radio.
College football crazy tomorrow. All right.
Every championship game. I'll tell you who's playing in what conference. What does it mean? Who's still alive? Who's not?
And we got those things. The games were great this past weekend too. It was a lot of fun.
Incredible games.
A lot of fun.
Great stuff. There was just that Auburn Alabama game. Was a lot of fun. Did you stay up late and watch Notre Dame at Stanford?
Yeah, the Notre Dame thing is in the morning. Well, you can't. I guess just being spoiled as a Notre Dame. I mean, after the first quarter, it's over. It's just
they were smashed. Yeah,
it's over.
Didn't cover though, but backdoor cover for Stanford. They were laying 30
on a just a general
32 and a half.
Watching the football game kind of thing.
No,
it's first quarter's over. I can go do other things.
From a non point spread gambling perspective. The game was over. First quarter, you didn't need to watch anymore. It was over.
It's something down the road that we should, discuss a little more too. I think there's the average fan, and then there's this whole average fan now in the gambling aspect of things now, where it's really
They don't have favorite teams anymore.
Yeah,
they don't have favorite teams anymore.
So like for me, I'm not a gambling guy. I don't do it. It's not to say that I won't. It's not to say that I'm not immune to.
You're not against it. It's just
it's not. I'm not ignoring the fact that it exists. It's a big part of sports right now.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of watching how this whole thing is transpiring as far as the industry and all the different platforms and how it intertwines and just now the last few months the new scandals that are coming out and what's the future of it going to be and so on and so forth. And then you talk about Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, New York just got 3 massive casino licenses, which is going to just change things here in the tri-state area, especially for us here.
And the owner of the Mets got one of them.
And the owner of the Mets has one of them. Yeah. And then you as far as the entertainment industry out here, they're all building new music theaters. I mean, who's going to these things? Who has the money for it?
That's a lot.
But anyway, it's just the way gambling, casino, sports, everything is intertwining. It's pretty fascinating in this modern day age. So we got a couple of small.
I have to get a couple things out before we go. First of all, about the Strangers last night, for the first time in 132 games. Came back and won a game they were losing with 3 minutes left in the third period.
Bravo.
Who was on Dallas last night? Me. I was on Dallas last night.
Everybody's on Dallas.
And sure enough, the Rangers do something they hadn't done in 132 games. And Cully tying the game. Was it Cully who tied the game? I think it was, right? Cully who tied it? A little spin around shot.
Cooley.
Cully.
Gavrikov for the winner.
Rangers. And the Islanders with a dominant effort.
Hold on, I just want to let you know, we're all in shock too, Ranger fans. So we're all in shock as well.
I know.
So
Islander good win against the Lightning.
The Duke looking good last night. Sorokin looking good.
Yeah, they played well, and the Lightning had won 7 in a row. They were on fire going into that game.
I guess. A little tired.
Islanders caught him at the right time, which was nice to see.
Devils are struggling
because the Islanders suddenly can't score goals. Remember, they scored a ton of goals on that road trip. They won 6 out of 7 games, and now they can't score goals anymore.
Well, look, I mean, obviously losing Palmieri, losing Romanov,
Pajot, they've lost a bunch of guys here.
They're working with it. Doing the best they can, getting Sorokin. We talked about it a little bit last week too, in terms of him getting into his groove. Look, man, Schaefer's been doing great. The more games he plays, the more ice time he gets. Everybody else is kind of playing pretty well. Look, the Islanders they're okay. They're as long as they don't go into a slide, I think, as a team and as an organization, that's all that they'll need to do. And then, maybe we'll get into it down the road closer to the trade deadline as far as their cap and what they can do and see if, the Islanders, that's going to be interesting too going forward to see if the Islanders can attract free agents into New York. So that'll be it. And as far
tough game for them tomorrow night. They're playing the Avalanche at UBS, which is never fun. And the Rangers are in Ottawa against the Sens.
The Avs are a story, man. Minnesota gave them a good game the other night.
They did. Minnesota's been on fire. They've been playing good hockey.
Got some rich guys on that.
They won 1-0 in Edmonton last night too. They've been beating some of them.
Is the Edmonton on its way out? Huh? It's just that whole thing.
I hope so, because I don't need them again. I don't need to watch McDavid crying at the end of the game. Devils play Dallas now tonight. So Dallas lost at the Garden last night. They crossed the river to the Rock, and they'll play the Devils this evening. It'd be hard for me to see the Dallas losing 2 games in a row. They're so good, but they should have won the game last night. The Rangers played. To be fair, Rangers played
third period.
Rangers played really well last night, and that maybe should be the start of some things for them. All right, some baseball stuff. We made a joke at the beginning of the show. I'll bring it up now. The Mets signed Devin Williams. Now, I think that it's pretty easy how you can classify this for them. And that is
for the Mets or the Yankees?
For the Mets. No, the Yankees, it's the best thing ever.
So this is how you're going to classify this for the Mets.
This is a great move if they re-sign Diaz. Because, look, having him as a 7th, 8th inning guy, I don't have a problem with it. It's $50 million, whatever. If he's the guy you're depending on, as we saw the Yankees wanted him to be last year, that is not going to go well. It's just not. And I'm kind of surprised at the Mets, honestly, considering all they've seen from this guy in the last 13 months, let's just call it, 14 months. He gave up the homer to Pete Alonso in that Milwaukee game in the year, not this October, the October before.
Playoffs, yep.
So the Mets got to him and in a huge spot.
Mm-hmm.
Then they watched him play for the Yankees all year and at all.
And also, too, the only thing I'll interject here, too, and it's got to play out, too. And you saw the column that came out about the clubhouse at the the Mets.
Well, I was going to bring that up to you also.
Gotcha. But, Devin Williams coming in and, supposedly he's the guy who made them change their whole beard policy and everything else. Right. And just his kind of personality going over to the Mets. Look, sorry, no disrespect, but I don't care because I'm a Yankees fan, and
it's good.
Mets,
you could be honest here.
And the Mets have obviously recently a lot of sloppy seconds as far as the picking Yankee players up, but it is what it is. I don't know how it's going to work, but I think you're right. I mean, if Diaz now signs with somebody else, there's no way Cohen lets him go. That truck he's got 2 trucks backed up to Cohen's house.
Right.
Just throwing all the money in there.
Just throwing it all in there. Throwing it all in there. That's
Get a mistake in the casino.
Now, that New York Post article came out at the end of last week, too, that you just referenced, which was, of course, that Soto and Lindor don't get along. McNeil and Lindor don't get along. Lindor isn't the leader that people think he is, and all. There's a lot. I've actually heard some things aside from that as well about it. Soto's kind of. I think you know what you're getting with Soto. He's not a rah-rah leader guy. He's a mercenary. He's gonna go in there. He's gonna take his money. He's not there to lead.
Last year, Lindor saves their team and gets them into the playoffs. Right. This year, Alonso does it.
Yeah,
it wasn't Soto. I mean,
right.
And to me, those for me, those are the Mets guys, Lindor and Alonso. And Soto's a long way from.
Well, look, I think that you're going to see that Nimmo going was just the first of what I think is going to be a major facelift. I think you will see McNeil out the door as well. I think you're going to see a major facelift. The Mets, all in all, with a lot of their things. As far as the Yankees go, obviously nothing to report on them signing anyone.
No.
Did you see this Sonny Gray? When he got traded to he got traded from the St. Louis to the Red Sox. He did his introductory, Zoom call with all the Red Sox reporters. Yeah. And he said, quote, this is talking about his time with the Yankees. Quote, I never wanted to go there to New York. It feels good to me to go to a place now where it's easy to hate the Yankees. I accept the challenge. Now, this guy was gutless when he was with the Yankees. Completely gutless. It's unfortunate that Cashman didn't see it before he traded for him. And I hate I said it. I don't like doing it. I was one of the few people when they made that trade with Oakland back in the day. This guy's not going to get it done here. He doesn't have the makeup. He doesn't have anything. Sure enough, bing, bing, bing. He sucked with the Yankees, and they had to run him back to Cincinnati where he can go and, nobody will look at him when he's getting his paper and coffee in the morning because that's what. And now he goes to Boston. And there are clips, and I'm sure you've either seen them or you can go find them, where he did talk about his time with the Yankees in a little bit of a glowing light, such as, hey, it was an experience. It was good for me. I learned a lot there, blah, blah, blah. But now because we're going to the Red Sox and we're going to try to lift up the fan base that they're going to love me being here, let me go take a swipe at the Yankees now. This guy sucked with the Yankees. He was gutless, and I hope he does the same thing for Boston now. I hope and now he's going to go pitch against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium a bunch of times a year. He didn't do good when he had to go there once. When he was with Cincinnati and St. Louis. Now he's got to come here a bunch of times. Hope he gets smashed. I've had enough of Sonny Gray.
Yeah.
Enough of this guy.
Good night. God bless. Take care of yourself. Same thing with Devin. Well, he made that comment too. Now I can go play on a Tuesday night. It's just another Tuesday night.
Just stop. But again, they don't have the make. Why are we finding these guys that don't have the make? Are we not talking to somebody before we trade for these guys?
Yeah.
To know you got to have a certain type of mentality to play here.
Yeah.
You know what? He'll be fine in the Mets.
Look, it is
You're
tough.
Right. It's not like playing for the Yankees, whether you like it or not. They're both the New York market, but it's not like playing for the Yankees.
No way.
So good for you. Go enjoy. Get the house up there in Great Neck, and then you can go and go and whatever. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of these guys. Paulie,
I agree with you.
Tomorrow, we're back.
Yes.
At Borrelli's, noon East. Massive show. I already laid out for you that there's so many huge games in the NFL this week. Lions, Cowboys tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Giants are off this week for you, thank God. That's a good thing. Jets are playing the Fish. They're playing Flipper at MetLife this week. We got all these college football championship games.
Yeah, it's all about college football.
Just told you, Isles and Rangers are playing tomorrow night. Isles got Colorado coming to the horse track.
And
So,
we got to spend a little time with the Knicks, maybe more a little bit too.
We should, because we haven't spent enough time with them. And they lost to Boston.
Jalen puts up another 40 points.
What an awful night for Brunson. Awful night. Played it was probably his worst game as a Knick last night. Great job. Thanks to Tab for coming on as well. Tab Bamford. I know we've got some things planned tomorrow too. I don't know if you want to share those.
Yeah, I'll let everybody know now. There's the LI Sled Hockey Classic this weekend, sanctioned by the NHL and the New York Islanders, and we're going to have the captain of the Long Island Rough Riders, Mike, is going to come on here tomorrow, and we'll talk a little bit about the tournament, talk about the LI Sled Hockey and the Rough Riders organization, and looking forward to that. And like I said, it's a great tournament. This weekend it's being hosted at the Clark Gillies Arena.
Nice.
And another arena out here in the island. But we'll talk about it all tomorrow.
So we'll be back tomorrow. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio from here at Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach. Everybody have a great night, and we will see you back here tomorrow.